Reset habits. Change usually does not begin with action. It begins with discomfort. You start noticing that your routine is no longer working the way it should. The low energy, the mindless scrolling, the random eating, the poor sleep, the constant feeling of being behind. You may not be ready to change yet, but now you can see the pattern clearly. And that awareness is where real change starts. Then comes the decision stage. This is where you stop vaguely wishing things were better and actually commit to doing something different. You stop waiting to feel perfectly motivated and start making a plan that fits your real life. Not some extreme routine you will abandon in 3 days, but small changes you can repeat without burning out. That is when action starts to matter. A healthier meal instead of junk food. A short walk instead of lying in bed. Reading a few pages instead of reaching for your phone. Going to bed a little earlier. Drinking more water. Cutting back on screen time. These things look small, which is exactly why people dismiss them, but small actions are what actually stick. Repetition changes everything. What felt forced starts to feel familiar. What used to take effort starts happening with less resistance. One day you notice that the habits you were trying to build are no longer a project. They have quietly become part of how you live. Awareness and reflection. Awareness is like turning on a light in a dark room. You can't fix what you don't see. Yet most of us move through life on autopilot, barely noticing our thoughts, feelings, or how our bodies react to them. You might feel tension in your shoulders, a racing heartbeat, or shallow breathing, and just ignore it. That autopilot mode keeps you disconnected from yourself and your intuition. Start anywhere. It doesn't have to be neat, perfect, or dramatic. Notice a small thought, a fleeting emotion, or a tiny experience. Track how your body responds. Let curiosity, not judgment, guide you. Over time, these small observations begin to converge. You start connecting patterns between what you think, what you feel, and how your body reacts. That connection is the foundation for real self-knowledge. Journaling helps cement the process. Write down what you notice, summarize patterns, and reflect on the insights you draw. It doesn't have to be long or structured, just honest. These notes become a roadmap of your mind, revealing habits, triggers, and subtle signals you previously ignored. Reflection isn't about having all the answers. Even a few minutes a day changes perspective. Start small, start messy, start now. Get bored. Boredom isn't laziness, it's a signal your brain needs space. In a world that constantly pushes us to do something, we've become addicted to quick dopamine hits. Scrolling, streaming, notifications, endless tasks. When you finally let yourself feel bored, it's uncomfortable. But that discomfort is exactly what makes it valuable. What happens when you actually sit with boredom? Your mind starts wandering, exploring questions you usually avoid. What am I doing with my life? What really matters? Why do my days feel empty? These thoughts are uncomfortable, yes, but they force reflection, self-connection, and spark creativity. Boredom gives your brain the room it needs to solve problems, notice patterns, and discover new ideas that never appear when you're constantly entertained. The effects go beyond insight. Regularly embracing short periods of boredom, 15 minutes or more, trains your mind to tolerate stillness. You become less restless at work, less frustrated in relationships, and less dependent on constant stimulation. Simple exercises like hiding your phone, staring at a wall, or sitting quietly without distractions start rewiring your brain to handle calm without panic. Over time, boredom transforms from a nuisance into a tool. It changes how you experience your life, making you more present, thoughtful, and even happier. Reduce overstimulation. Most of us live in a constant whirlwind, moving from one task to the next without a pause. Wake up in a rush, drop the kids at school, listen to a podcast on the way to work, answer emails, attend back-to-back meetings, pick the kids up, rush dinner, scroll your phone comparing yourself to influencers, then sleep and repeat. Sound familiar? That nonstop input isn't just tiring, it overloads your brain. You feel irritable, restless, anxious, and your body starts sending signals too. Neck and back pain, tension, a mind that just won't rest. Here's what's happening. When you try to do too much at once, your brain floods with stimulation. Bright screens, constant notifications, stress, social media, online news, coffee, endless competition. Your nervous system stays in overdrive, and over time it impacts your mood, focus, and even physical health. The solution doesn't have to be dramatic. Start with small interruptions. Find a quiet space to sit. Be mindful of what you're doing. Enjoy slow, mundane moments. Step outside, move your body, journal, eat well, and connect with people around you. Limit unnecessary screens, stop comparing yourself, and spend time in nature. One slow moment at a time, your brain learns that it doesn't need constant stimulation to function, and life starts feeling less chaotic. Discipline yourself. No guilt or pressure here, but building self-discipline is one of the most powerful tools you can adopt for your life. Discipline isn't punishment. It's a mindset and a framework. a compass that helps you navigate complexity and stay on course even when things get messy. Discipline gives structure to your days, turning vague intentions into clear actions. It helps you break down big goals into manageable steps. Want to climb a mountain? You don't start at the peak, you start with small trails. Consistent, incremental steps make challenges feel achievable rather than overwhelming. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. Discipline, however, is consistent. By creating routines, prioritizing tasks, and sticking to daily habits, you train your mind to act even when motivation is low. Over time, these small, repeated actions build momentum, strengthening willpower and self-trust. Your decisions get easier because your habits are guiding you, not chaos or distraction. You complete tasks that once felt daunting, and small wins add up, fueling progress without relying on luck or inspiration. Discipline is about consistency. Adopt it gradually, respect the process, and watch how it enhances your life, your goals, and even how you see yourself. Direct focus. This might be one of the most underrated habits for real-life success. Most people think focus is something you either have or don't, but attention is a skill you can train. Directing your energy where it matters most, at work, in school, during sports, or in personal relationships, changes everything quietly over time. Here's what happens when you improve focus. Your brain stops scattering energy on constant distractions. You start completing tasks faster, thinking more clearly, and enjoying the satisfaction of real progress. Small practices like meditation, yoga, or getting quality sleep help your mind reset naturally. Even taking short breaks every few hours, stepping away completely from work or screens, gives your attention a chance to recharge so it returns sharper and more effective. The environment matters too. Space free from distractions lets your brain engage fully with what matters. Most people underestimate this simple adjustment, but it redefines productivity and clarity more than hours of effort ever could. Direct focus isn't about forcing yourself to grind endlessly or pretending motivation will always show up. It's about creating the conditions where your attention flows naturally and consistently. The people who get the most done aren't those working nonstop. They're the ones protecting their focus, using small pauses wisely, and consistently training their attention. Tolerate discomfort. This one might sound obvious, but most people avoid discomfort as if it's the enemy. The truth is, discomfort is one of the fastest ways to grow. Every challenge you face today makes the next one easier. Learning to lean into it instead of running from it builds resilience, skill, and confidence over time. Discomfort signals that you're pushing your limits, stretching your abilities, and creating new mental or physical pathways. Skipping it feels easier in the moment, but it slows your progress. Embracing small challenges consistently, whether it's speaking a new language poorly, exercising beyond what feels comfortable, or tackling a difficult task at work, trains your mind to tolerate uncertainty and struggle. The effects are cumulative. Each time you practice tolerating discomfort, you build a foundation that supports bigger goals. Like a pyramid, the base is the hardest part, but it holds everything above it. Writing out steps, taking imperfect action, facing fear incrementally, make growth inevitable. Start tiny, set reminders, break complex tasks into manageable steps, and accept that mistakes are part of the process. Take action even if conditions aren't perfect. What once felt impossible begins to feel routine. Discomfort isn't something to avoid. It's the tool that changes potential into skill, hesitation into confidence, and fear into forward momentum. Do not multitask. Most people still try to juggle too many things at once, and it quietly sabotages both focus and productivity. Multitasking isn't efficiency, it's fragmentation. Every time you split your attention, your brain loses a little clarity, and tasks take longer to complete with more mistakes along the way. When you focus on one thing at a time, your mind engages fully, decisions come faster, and your work quality improves. You start noticing details you'd otherwise miss, and your energy lasts longer because your mental load is lighter. Constantly switching between tasks, even small ones, triggers stress and fatigue. This scattered approach can make your days feel chaotic and your goals harder to reach. The world that we are in right now requires us to do so many things. Even basic everyday duties have enormously increased. Affording daily basic necessities requires us to work harder than before while also having kids. Then it seems as if 24 hours in a day are not enough. While all of this holds true, it's important to slow down every once in a while, otherwise burnout will hold you back eventually. Create a realistic to-do list, set priorities, and schedule specific times for each task. Use techniques like the Pomodoro method. Take intentional breaks and minimize distractions. Put your phone away, close unnecessary tabs, and postpone casual chats until later. Focusing on one task at a time doesn't just get things done faster. It improves clarity, reduces stress, and strengthens self-discipline. The people who accomplish the most aren't those who multitask endlessly. They're the ones who protect their attention, honor their priorities, and let each task receive the focus it deserves.